Hello, this is Survival-gyver, and today is a bit of a comparison video between two Gerber multi-tools. Now, these are actually really interesting. This is the tried and true suspension, which has been discontinued by Gerber, I believe, of last year. You can still find them. They've made millions of these. It's a great budget or beginner's multi-tool. It's got some really nice features on it, and I'm going to go over them with you shortly. And this is its replacement. It's a little hard to see with the light that I got here, but this is the Suspension NXT. Definitely a different design, and it actually has less tools in it. But it has some interesting features, and, well, I got like 6 of the Gerber Suspensions because I used to get them as gifts all the time. And I have them in all my gear. I probably got 2 in the car, 1 in my emergency kit, 1 in the glove box. I got 1 in at least each of my hiking and camping bags. I usually keep 1 here at the desk, which is this one. And I have another one that sometimes I'll just bring with me. This one I just picked up the other day. Unfortunately, I cannot get it. There we go. So the Suspension NXT. It's a similar design, but I have some grievances about it. Might just be because I'm used to the old suspension. But I'm going to talk about them. Now, I am actually going to use a small pry tool to take out some of the tools on this because, 1, I have no fingernails. When I stressed, I grind them on whatever I could find. And 2, because this thing needs to be lubed. I think it needs to be lubed. But let me go over the first version of the suspension before I go over the second one, and then I'm going to do a side-by-side comparison, so the video is probably going to be a little on the long side. But I want you to see everything that's in here, because these are still, even though it's discontinued by Gerber directly, you can still get them just about everywhere. Amazon still has them. I've seen them in Dick's Sporting Goods. I've seen them at Academy Sports and Outdoors. I've seen them at gas stations. I've seen them everywhere. And eBay has a good amount of them too. So even though this is discontinued, you can still get them. And this is the replacement, as I said. So we will see what the actual difference is. Side-by-side comparison, but I will go through them first. As a more in-depth video, so I don't have to make 2 separate videos, or 3, like I did on the flashlights. Trying to be a little bit more efficient. So, first up, Gerber Suspension. Sorry, I had to pause the video for a moment. I had a dog run over and knock the camera over. Alright, so this is the original Gerber Suspension. So the length, width, and height is 9.5 inches by 5.5 inches by 2 inches. It weighs 10.4 ounces. Alright. It's made in China, unfortunately. I don't remember the kind of steel. I want to say it's 7CR, but so we have a regular set of needle nose pliers, and it's spring loaded. So, and it's a pretty strong spring considering I use these quite often. And it still has a wire cutter. Needle nose little wrench style setup there. Now, I'm going to go talk about the ends here. So these little ends are rubber, probably to prevent you from knocking things and to give you a little bit of grip on the end, which is a nice touch. I do like that if you look on the actual ends of this, it tells you what tools are here. So this is a lock. That one tells me there's a scissor. This one tells me it's a saw. It's a little curvy thing, so you can see the saw right there. I'm sorry, it's serrated. This one's the saw. And that's the straight blade. So, nice thing about these, they have, there we go. Let me close this up to make it easy on myself here. They're like a thumb screw. Open it up. So there's the straight blade. We have a flathead screwdriver. A flat Phillips head screwdriver, and there's the saw from the other side. which is nice, right? And these are actually pretty easy if you want to just unlock them, because right now they're in the lock position. You just pull back on them, and then you can close them. But let's go on the other side first. All right, another thumb screw there. There's the serrated blade. Kind of cool. Next we have a can opener / bottle opener. And you could, if you wanted to, use this as a really small flathead screwdriver. I wouldn't recommend it in that case, but you could if you really had to. And there's a small screwdriver, and it's got a really strange profile to it. This side is curved inwards, the other side is relatively flat. And then we have a scissor. Now notice something to be wary of. It doesn't have a little flat spot on here to help give you leverage. Scissor works fine though. It just doesn't have the little piece for leverage. And then there's this one that's always hiding in here. That's a lanyard hole. So if you wanted to, I hope I put this in the right position. There we go. If you wanted to, there's no belt clip on this, but there's a lanyard hole, so you can always add a lanyard to it if you'd like to. That's hiding in between the scissor and the small screwdriver. So what do we got? We got 1, 2, right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 if you want to do it that way. So it's about 12. Sorry for the other pause again. So this is the go-to on the Gerber suspension. So 12 tools. I actually just had to make sure as well. And the Gerber NXT has 15 tools. And, well, I couldn't get this one in gray. I was only able to get it in the regular stainless steel. First thing you'll notice, it has a belt clip, which is nice. Although, let's see if I could zoom in to see the end of this here. There's actually a lot of complaints on this, where those two little cuts are and the piece goes over the top. It's sharp. Not necessarily going to cut your hand on it, but if you're against, say, like leather seats in a car or something of that nature, you can do some damage that way. Nothing a file can't fix, but all of them seem to be like that. But let's take a look at this one. All right. So I'm going to open this back up. So this one's a little bit larger. This also weighs a little less too. This is 6.7 ounces, 15 tools. Still spring assist. Now I don't know. If I can get this close enough to the mic. It sounds like there's sand in the mechanism at the pivot point. I've tried cleaning it twice now and I still can't get it clean, but it's better than it was when I first got it. So of course you got the same needle-nose plier, almost identical to the original suspension. Locks are similar. Let's see if I can get this. I'm gonna have to try to get this to focus. There we go. So the locks are similar. The downside is they're not marked on the handle of what tools are there. So it just takes a little while to figure out what you got. Also, if you look really carefully, there are no thumb screws. You know, ways of making the blades come up easier. Now this is also thinner. So, I mean, it's a little bit longer. It's definitely lighter, but it's thinner. So, you know, there's that, which is fine. So let's take a look at what tools we got in this, shall we? I'll start off on this side. We have an actual Phillips head screwdriver. It's non-magnetic though. At least everything I've tried, it has not been magnetic. But instead of a flat one, it's a full size, page 1. There is a very, very sharp awl. You know, what downside to this that I find on many other brands, it's missing the thread hole. So an awl is nice and all, but it would be nice to be able to put some thread through it if I was fixing like leather or something. But it is really sharp, so you could make it into a second blade. I'm sorry that this keeps getting blurry. There's just way too much glare with this finish. Okay. Next up is a 1.5 inch ruler, which I suppose is useful for some people. Not useful for me. But yeah, there is one on there, and it's not super accurate. So like the 1 inch mark to the end, there's no leeway. So if this wears down a little bit or wasn't machined absolutely perfect, all the markings will be wrong. So that's kind of I think they could have put something better in there than that. Especially since, let's see, does this one have it? Nope, I guess not. I thought this one had the other ruler on it. That might have been one of the other multi-tools I had. Sorry. It's got a file on the other end and a flathead. So at least they made this side useful. This side, not so much. Would have been nice if it was like a diamond grit sharpener or something, but whatever. Nothing else on this side. Go on to this other side, and we got a plain and serrated knife instead of both a plain and a serrated. On separate, these are obviously together with a fingernail pull-up piece. Oh, geez, some of these are really tight in here. We got another flathead screwdriver, which is about the same size, maybe a little bit wider than the one that's on the file. Let me not cut my hand, that'd be nice. We have another flathead screwdriver, tiny little one here, with a can opener and bottle opener. And we have a scissor. And the scissor has this nice little bend to it, so you have a little bit more, get a little bit more torque on there. So that's a nice little feature on that end. Problems I've had with this is, well, the locks are really, really hard to unlock anything. That one wasn't too bad. I have to yank down them and they actually tear into my fingers. These are actually sharp, while the one on the old suspension was rounded. So I suppose these give you better grip than these. This is more of a rounded and that's a bit more sharp. So I suppose it gives you better grip, but it's kind of painful to unlock these. So also, with the clip being here, it's difficult to get to that other lock on the other side. So, oh, Jesus. Yeah, like I can't get one of those closed there. Got that one, that one. I can't get that one to unlock. There it goes. So, there's a problem on that. So let's see a real comparison between the two. Alright? If you line up the top, you'll see the NXT is a bit longer. If you put them side to side, not counting the pocket clip on this one, the NXT is thinner. It does have 3 more tools on it, but seems to have some issues, like the locks. As I said, you saw me struggle with this Phillips head. And it's got 3 flathead, 2 of which are almost the same size, and it's got a combination plain edge and serrated, as the old suspension had separate blades for it. Other side note, let me open this back up. They both have similar, work about the same. Things you will notice though, the pivot point on the NXT is small, and it's a couple mil larger on the old suspension. The NXT, however, has the whole backside ground, so you don't even see the pivot point, and on the old suspension you do see it. So there's that. But there's one really big issue I have. Those are about the same. One needle nose is actually about 1 millimeter longer than the other. The NXT has the same rubber on this end and has like a lanyard hole on that end. So that's fine because this one's got it built into it if you need a lanyard hole. But let me show you some of the quality issues, or I think it's a quality issue. Now, look how far away that is from the pivot point. How much play is between those sides? Very little, about 1/2 mil. Let's take a look at the NXT. That is a problem. So somewhere in here, there is a heck of a lot of play in the top pivots. They don't even look like they're wearing well on the top. Well, the wear is, well, I actually feel like they're casting lines, but it does show less wear, even though the suspension is an older, much older tool. The NXT is not as comfortable in the hand as the more rounded one for the regular suspension, and of course the lack of thumb studs. So now I don't know if this is, if all the NXTs have this kind of play in them, or if it's just mine. But there's a lifetime warranty on them, and I may just send it back to Gerber and see what they say. But so if you want something slightly lighter but longer with a belt clip, this would be for you. If you want 3 flathead screwdrivers, if you want the old-fashioned one, which seems to be a little bit better built and has the nice functions of like the thumb screws or thumb notches, whatever you like to call them. Slightly less tools, but as I said, the blades are separate, so you have a saw, you have a straight edge or flat edge, plain edge, and you have a serrated. Those are all separate. Well, this one doesn't have a saw and has the plain edge and serrated on one blade, so you have a little less use of it. But I mean, that's about it. I still prefer the original suspension. The new NXT does come in a gray finish, but I was unable to get one at the time. It was out of stock. So I have the stainless steel one, and I believe it comes black as well. I believe this suspension also comes in black, but I've personally never seen it. It might be on their website, or I'll check Amazon for it. In the description below will be links in Amazon and on Gerber, where I can find it anyway, for the Suspension NXT and the original suspension, just in case anybody's interested in wanting to take more information about them, or even purchase one. So links will be in the description. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below and I will answer them as soon as I can. I'm usually pretty good at that. And if you can, like the video. If you don't like the video, you could also dislike the video. I wanted to show you a comparison instead of just making 2 separate videos on them. Although maybe in the future, if anybody asks, I could just make a separate video of each, if it makes it easier for them to find the information they're looking for. So thank you for watching, and of course, if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. There's going to be plenty more cool stuff coming down the pike soon, and that's it. Thank you for watching, and have a glorious day.